The pregnancy test results sat unopened in my purse as I pulled into Rachel's driveway. After 3 years of trying, 4 failed IVF attempts, and countless disappointments, I couldn't bear to look at another negative result alone. I needed my sister, the one person who'd been there through everything. I didn't recognize the silver Lexus parked in front of her house. Rachel taught second grade. None of her teacher friends drove luxury cars. But then, a lot had changed since she'd moved back from Seattle 6 months ago, right after my last failed IVF cycle. The late October wind scattered leaves across her front yard as I walked up the path. I was about to ring the doorbell when I heard voices through the partially open kitchen window. "We have to tell her." James's voice. My husband's voice. He was supposed to be at work, 3 hours away at a client meeting. "We can't." Rachel's voice cracked. "It would destroy her." I froze, my hand still raised to the doorbell. "The baby isn't hers," James said. "It's yours. The DNA test proves it." The world tilted sideways. I grabbed the porch railing to steady myself. "I never meant for this to happen." Rachel was crying now. "The clinic must have mixed up the samples somehow, used my eggs instead of hers." "That's not what happened, and you know it." James's voice was harsh. "We have to tell her the truth. About everything." My sister's next words came out as a whisper. "She can never know about us, James. Never." The pregnancy test in my purse felt like it was burning through the leather. I've been so excited to tell them both, my sister and my husband, the 2 people I trusted most in the world. "Now, I'm 4 months along," Rachel continued. If we don't tell her now, it'll be worse later. The baby could look like you, or me." The baby? My hand drifted to my own stomach, where just this morning I felt the first fluttering movements. The miracle pregnancy my doctor couldn't explain. The baby James and I had prayed for. Except it wasn't James's baby at all. And the father wasn't some anonymous sperm donor from the fertility clinic. My legs gave out. I sank onto the porch steps, their voices still drifting through the window. "I'm keeping it," Rachel said firmly. "I know it's selfish, but after losing David in the accident, this baby might be my only chance." David, Rachel's husband, killed in a car crash 2 years ago. Was that when it started? Had my sister and my husband been? Emma deserves to know why her IVF treatments kept failing. James's voice had softened. Why the embryos never took? Because they weren't viable. Because I requested they use my sperm with your eggs, not hers. I've been sabotaging the treatments for months. The world went silent. Even the wind seemed to stop. All those nights I cried in James's arms, blaming myself for our infertility. All those times he held me, telling me we'd keep trying, that it would happen when it was meant to. All lies. "You did what?" Rachel sounded as horrified as I felt. "James, how could you?" "I couldn't keep living the lie, pretending I didn't love you. Watching you move back here, knowing you were carrying my child." "Get out." Rachel's voice turned to steel. "Get out of my house." "Rachel." I said "Get out." I never should have. We never should have. Oh God, Emma, my poor sister. I should have confronted them. Should have burst in and demanded answers. Instead, I pulled out my phone with trembling hands and opened my camera. Hit record. "The baby is mine," James was saying. "I have rights." Rights? You want to talk about rights after what you did to Emma, to our family? I'll tell her everything if you don't agree to. To what? Run away with you. Destroy my sister's life completely. I was weak once. Lonely after David died. But I won't do this to Emma. Not anymore. I heard footsteps approaching the front door. Somehow, I found the strength to stand and walk quickly back to my car. As I pulled away, I saw James storm out of the house, punching numbers into his phone. My phone rang seconds later. His name flashed on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again and again. Text messages started flooding in. "Emma, where are you? We need to talk. Please answer your phone. I can explain everything." I turned off my phone and drove. I had no destination in mind, but somehow I ended up at Riverside Park, where James and I had our first date 5 years ago, where he proposed under the old oak tree. The pregnancy test was still in my purse. With shaking hands, I finally opened it. Positive. 2 pink lines that should have been the happiest sight of my life. My baby, not a miracle at all. but the product of my husband's betrayal with my own sister. I sat on a park bench, watching young families walk by. A pregnant woman held hands with her husband, both of them laughing at their toddler's antics. That should have been my life, my happy ending. My phone was still off, but I knew what I had to do. I pulled out my laptop, I always carried it for work, and logged into our joint accounts. The ones James thought I never checked because he handled all the finances. Transfers to a private account, regular payments to the fertility clinic that didn't match our treatment schedule. A hidden credit card with charges at hotels, restaurants, jewelry stores. How long? How many of our fertility treatments had been fake? How many times had he met my sister while I was home, crying over another failure? A new email popped up from Rachel. Emma, please call me. I need to tell you something important. I closed the laptop, turned my phone back on. 67 missed calls and messages. But I didn't call James or Rachel. Instead, I called the one person who'd warned me about James years ago, the one I dismissed as jealous and bitter. Linda, it's Emma. Remember when you caught James with someone at the Marriott last year and I didn't believe you? I need to know everything you saw. My best friend's voice was gentle. Where are you? I'm coming to get you. First, I need you to help me do something. How much can you transfer between banks before it raises flags? Emma, I have recordings. Evidence. But I need to move fast before he realizes I know. A pause. Then, give me 20 minutes. Don't do anything until I get there. I ended the call and placed both hands on my stomach. My baby moved again, a flutter like butterfly wings. It's just you and me now, little one, I whispered. And we're about to teach your father and aunt what happens when they bet against the wrong woman. Linda found me still sitting on that park bench, my hands protectively curved around my stomach. She took one look at my face and pulled me into a fierce hug. I've got my lawyer on standby, she said, settling beside me. And I still have those photos from the Marriott. I pulled out my laptop, showing her the financial records I've found. Look at the dates of these hotel charges. Every time I had a failed treatment, he was with her. Linda's face darkened as she scrolled through the transactions. The fertility clinic payments. Double what they should have been. He was paying them to falsify records. My voice sounded hollow even to my own ears. I called the clinic. Turns out their ethics officer is very interested in potential fraud cases. Good. Linda squeezed my hand. What do you need me to do? I pulled up our joint accounts again. James thinks I'm technologically incompetent, that I don't understand banking or investments. He never changed the passwords from our anniversary date. Amateur move. He's got $3 million in liquid assets, another 5 in properties and investments. I started typing. All jointly owned. Linda watched as I began moving funds. Is this legal? In the state of New York, removing up to 50% of joint assets when filing for divorce is perfectly legal, I said, especially with evidence of fraud and infidelity. My phone buzzed again. James. This time, I answered. Emma? Thank God. Where are you? I've been worried sick. Have you checked the bank accounts? My voice was ice. Silence. You should do that now, James. I'll wait. I heard fumbling. Typing. Then, what have you done? Emma, whatever you think you know. I know everything. The recordings are quite clear. You and Rachel might want to speak more quietly next time you discuss your affair and your deliberate sabotage of my fertility treatments. More silence. The clinic's ethics board has some interesting questions about certain payments. The IRS might too. And I'm sure your law firm's partners would love to hear the recording of you admitting to medical fraud. Emma, please. His voice cracked. Let me explain. You have 30 minutes to pack a bag and leave our house. Anything you haven't taken by then will be donated to charity. You can't do this. That's my house too. Check your email. My lawyer's already filed for divorce and an emergency injunction based on emotional and financial abuse. Given the evidence, the judge was quite sympathetic. Evidence? What evidence? Everything, James. The hotel receipts, the hidden credit cards, the fake clinic payments, the recordings. Did you really think I was as stupid as you treated me? Linda gestured to her watch. Time to end this. Oh, and James, tell Rachel I've sent copies of everything to David's parents. They've always wondered why she moved back so suddenly. Now they'll know she was sleeping with her sister's husband while their son was barely cold in his grave. I hung up as he started to protest. Linda nodded approvingly. Brutal. What's next? My phone buzzed with a text from Rachel. Please let me explain. It's not what you think. I shoved Linda the message. Now we go to my house. I want to be there when he leaves. You sure that's safe? I patted my purse. The police are already on their way. Anonymous tip about potential domestic violence during a divorce confrontation. It should arrive right about when he does. We pulled up to my house just as James's BMW screeched into the driveway. He jumped out, face red with rage. You vindictive bitch, he shouted. You think you can ruin me? Two police cars turned the corner, lights flashing. No, James, I stepped out of Linda's car, one hand on my stomach. You did that all by yourself. The officers approached cautiously. Everything okay here? I let my voice shake, tears flowing. My husband. I just told him I'm pregnant, and he threatened to make sure I'd never see the baby. James's face went white. What? You're 4 months along. I turned to the officers. I have recordings of him admitting to medical fraud and threatening me. And now he's here, screaming. Sir, step away from the lady. James tried to approach me anyway. Emma, wait. The officers moved between us. Sir, hands where we can see them. Linda filmed everything on her phone as they escorted James away from the house. He looked back once, face twisted with desperation. The baby, is it? Yours? I smiled coldly. I guess you'll have to wait for the paternity test. Just like I'll have to wait to see if your baby with my sister is a boy or a girl. His face crumpled as the officers put him in the car. Rachel's Lexus appeared at the end of the street but stopped short when she saw the police cars. Through the windshield, I could see her crying. I pulled out my phone and texted her. Don't worry, sis, I won't tell anyone about the baby. That's your burden to carry. But if you ever contact me or my child again, every person you know will receive copies of those recordings. She drove away without responding. Linda helped me pack some essentials. You can stay with me as long as you need. Just for tonight. I looked around at the house James and I had shared. Tomorrow I'm calling the realtor. I don't want anything he's touched. And the baby? I touched my stomach gently. This little one deserves better than a father who could do this. Better than an aunt who could betray her own sister. Speaking of betrayal, Linda hesitated. Are you really not going to tell anyone about Rachel's baby? No need. I pulled up an email on my phone. The fertility clinic's investigation will reveal everything. And once his law firm drops them, James won't be able to afford child support for either baby. Rachel will have to explain to everyone why she's keeping her sister's husband's child. Linda whistled softly. Remind me never to cross you. I learned from the best. I managed a small smile. James always said I was too trusting, too naive. He taught me to be ruthless instead. As we drove away, I saw James being released from the police car, standing alone in front of the house he'd never enter again. My phone buzzed one last time. A message from his law firm. Mrs. Harrison, we've received some concerning information. Please call us regarding your husband's partnership status. I deleted it without responding. There would be more messages tomorrow, more fallout to manage. But for now, I had my freedom, my baby, and the satisfaction of knowing that sometimes karma works through bank transfers and police reports. 5 months later, I sat in my new apartment overlooking Central Park, reviewing the final divorce settlement. James had lost everything: his law partnership, his reputation, and most of his assets. The fertility clinic scandal had made national news, leading to investigations at other clinics across the country. My phone lit up with a text from Linda. Turn on Channel 4. Now. Rachel was on screen, standing outside her house. Looking haunted and thin despite her obvious pregnancy, the headline scrolled beneath. Local teacher resigns amid fertility clinic scandal. Ms. Wilson has resigned from her teaching position, the reporter announced, following revelations of her involvement in the Mountain View Fertility Clinic fraud case. Her brother-in-law, former partner at Preston and Myers Law, James Harrison, faces potential criminal charges. I turned off the TV. Rachel had lost everything too: her job, her reputation, even her relationship with our parents. Mom and Dad hadn't spoken to her since the truth came out, and David's parents had publicly denounced her in their small hometown. Another text from Linda. You okay? Better than okay, I typed back, rubbing my very pregnant belly. Just finished decorating the nursery. My daughter kicked, strong and healthy. The doctors called her a miracle, given the stress of the divorce. I called her my salvation. The doorbell rang. My new doorman's voice came through the intercom. "Ms. Harrison, your parents are here." I buzzed them up, watching as Mom rushed to hug me while Dad lingered awkwardly by the door. "The nursery is beautiful," Mom said, looking around the pink and gray room. "Have you decided on a name?" "Victoria." I smiled. "It means victory." Dad finally spoke. "Rachel called again. She's due next week." "I know. The private investigator I'd hired kept me informed. She's having a boy." "Emma?" Mom took my hand. "She wants to make amends, says the guilt is eating her alive." "Good." I met their eyes steadily. "It should." "She's still your sister," Dad said quietly. "No," I pulled my hand away. "She stopped being my sister the moment she chose to sleep with my husband while watching me suffer through fake fertility treatments. She stopped being family when she let him torture me with false hope for months." They couldn't argue with that. "The investigators found 6 other couples," I continued. 6 other women James helped manipulate at the clinic. Also, he could hide his affair with Rachel. Some lost their life savings, their marriages, their only chance at having children. Mom wiped away tears. "We never thought she could." Neither did I. I moved to the window, looking out at the park where I now took daily walks, rebuilding my life step by step. But that's the thing about betrayal. It shows you who people really are. My phone buzzed, an email from James's criminal attorney begging for a meeting. Apparently, facing potential federal fraud charges had humbled him. I deleted it without reading further. "What about the baby?" Dad asked. "Rachel's baby. He'll be your child's brother." "Half-brother," I corrected. "And no, he won't be. Victoria will never know them. That's my gift to her, freedom from their poison." The baby kicked again, and I smiled. Every kick was a reminder that despite everything James and Rachel had done, they failed. I was having my baby on my terms without their toxic presence. "I have something to show you," I said, leading them to my home office. On the wall hung my new degrees, the online business and finance courses I'd completed during sleepless pregnancy nights. Next to them was my new business license, Harrison Consulting, specializing in helping women achieve financial independence during divorce. "You did all this while pregnant?" Mom sounded awed. "I did it because I was pregnant." I touched my diploma. "Victoria will grow up knowing her mother is strong, independent, unbreakable." Dad cleared his throat. "James's sentencing is next month." "I know. The prosecutors want me to speak at the hearing." I turned to them. "I'm going to tell the judge to show mercy." They looked shocked. "Not because he deserves it," I explained, "but because holding on to hate hurts me more than it hurts him. Victoria deserves a mother focused on love, not revenge." Mom hugged me again, careful of my belly. "When did you get so wise?" "When I stopped letting other people write my story." After they left, I opened my laptop to finish the day's work. 3 new clients, all women leaving toxic marriages. I'd help them do what I did. Take back their power, their money, their lives. My phone buzzed one last time. "Rachel, please, the baby's coming. I can't do this alone." I blocked her number without responding. She'd made her choices. Now she could live with them. Victoria kicked again, and I felt the future stretching out before us. Bright, clean, and free from the shadows of betrayal. In the end, James and Rachel had given me an unexpected gift. They'd shown me my own strength. "Just you and me, little one," I whispered, the same words I'd said that day in the park. But now they weren't words of despair. They were a promise. Tomorrow I would help another woman find her freedom. Next week I would welcome my daughter. And someday I would tell Victoria a story about how the worst betrayal led to the best revenge, living well, living strong, and living free. The sun set over Central Park, painting my new life in shades of gold. Sometimes I realized you have to lose everything to find out what you're really worth.